Hello everyone, welcome to Narain's Life with MS. This is Narain and it's time for what MS taught me. So today I actually have something to talk about because it definitely is something that MS has definitely taught me. Considering that you know I'm such a veteran at it, but it is still a very surprising sort of thing to learn because a lot of times I am able to do certain things, and then there are days when I am not. And it just so happens that today was a day where I thought that I wouldn't be able to accomplish anything, but turns out that I did. And so the lesson I have for you today is that don't underestimate your body with MS. You can take it both in a positive or a negative connotation, considering that, say you want to really do something, say you want to, say you think you can actually achieve it, you probably might be able to achieve it. But then at the same time, things that might seem very easy will also not actually happen because your body is such. So you cannot underestimate your body with MS. But then at the same time, you cannot underestimate MS itself, right? And this also goes both ways, which is actually very funny, considering that you can literally say that, there is something that is happening and there is maybe a symptom you might have experienced yesterday or something that you constantly experience, and then suddenly it appears, and then the next day it completely disappears. And so really I would say that the one thing that MS has definitely taught me is to really never underestimate A, what your body can do, and B, what this disease can do. And the funny part is that in both cases, there always is, I mean, MS in itself is pretty much a fight, a battle against yourself. So you have to know that it is less a battle and more a war. And you can almost consider each day being a different battle. And just like in some days, MS ends up winning, other days you end up winning. But then the way that either side wins can happen either through the disease in itself, right? The whole notion of it being a disease, or it, you know, diseasing, or your body itself reacting to something. So with that said, it is definitely uh it is definitely a game with that requires both power and also requires a lot of mind. And the whole reason for that is just because each and every day just ends up being the same exact fight, but each and every day the situation is different, the tables might be turning, and you never know until the end of the day whether you've won the battle or MS has won the battle. So, as a result, one thing that you can always ask yourself if you are a person with MS is, who has really won the battle today? Who has really achieved something that, might not have otherwise happened? And because, as you know, one of my biggest goals is to make sure that each day is just a little better than the last. A lot of times, I am, of course, angling for myself to win against MS. But there are ways that you can still have a much more positive day without actually winning that battle. And the reason is because sometimes you do have to take two steps back in your in your journey to move forward. And sometimes you do need to take that day of rest. You do need to take a day where you just tell the world that for the day you are not going to be functioning, you are not going to be available, just so the following day can be a much bigger win than the small loss that you're having of that day. That is a little something, or maybe one of the bigger lessons that MS has taught me. And of course, I do want to know what you think, what your thoughts are, what your insights are, and what your experiences are about, dealing with this medical condition, and how do you structure each battle in a way where, you're coming out on top. Because at the end of the day, we have to make sure that we're the ones winning the war. And the only way to win the war is to make sure that we plan each and every battle properly. Make sure that we end up doing as much as possible, taking each and every single step carefully, and of course, hopefully, and making sure that, we end up coming out on top. But of course, with all of that said, please do share your thoughts, your insights, your experiences so that we can get the conversation started. And of course, with all of that said, this is Nareen's Life with MS. I am Nareen, and here's wishing you a good night, sweet dreams, and I'm going to catch you tomorrow. Bye.